there we go. That should work. Let me know. The mic is on now. Something just was not connected properly. Now I've got it. Thank you guys. I appreciate that so much. Okay. Hi, I'm Jolene. I'm from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I sell modern farmhouse home decor, a lot of which I teach here right in my basement. I do all kinds of sewing tutorials. I have all kinds of patterns and designs and all kinds of stuff that I do here. And today we're going to sew a fabric rug, also known as a rag rug, a fabric strip rug, throw rug, or a jelly roll rug. Now, technically today it's not a jelly roll rug because you would have to buy a jelly roll in order for it to be called that. So we're using Benetrex Botanical Radiance by Quilt in a Day. These are 2.5-inch strips. There is 42 strips here in this bundle, so we're going to get a pretty big rug out of this. I bought 6 packs of this, and now I'm getting ready to start sewing. So the Singer Heavy Duty is a 4452. The thread is a polyester 40 weight embroidery thread, which has a high break point. Yes, I know it's an embroidery thread. I'm using 116 needle, and I think that's all that we need to talk about for right now. So we're going to sew the strips together, then we're going to sew the batting into the strips, and then we are going to sew the rug round and round and round. And if you were here for this morning's tutorial, I did it this morning as well, and we had a super good time. It was so much fun. But truth of the matter is, I've got Christmas markets here coming up really quickly. The first weekend of November, which essentially gives me just the last part of July, September, and October to get my poop in a group and get going. So how we're going to sew the strips is you lay your first strip down face up, going this way with the machine. You grab your next 2.5-inch strip, and it's going to be face down, and it's going to go top bottom with your machine. So I lay it down just so it makes a cross, and then I pivot it to the angle, and I always back stitch a couple of stitches at the beginning and do it at the other end as well. And you'll thank me for that when we're making the tube, because all of your ends won't fly apart. And I have made over 1,500 rugs. So I have learned a thing or two. I've been on YouTube for a very long time. One of my very first videos was me teaching this rug, and I've actually, of course, do I regret making that video? No, I don't really regret it. I mean, you have to start somewhere. But I will say I am much more experienced now and have learned how to make these quickly. So this live should go for a good couple of hours. You don't have to stay here for the whole thing. If you want to watch just the tutorial, you can watch the tutorial for how to do this rug. It's called the Ultimate Rug. On my channel, you'll know you're watching it because it's got the thumbnail. So the video picture is 4 rugs together with my logo in the middle, Home Stitchery Decor. And you can go ahead and watch that one if you prefer. And then all of the supplies that you guys need for this, I have put my Amazon shopping list in the video description. So it's there right now for you. I figured out how to do that since this morning's video as well. And you can go ahead, and if you need any of the supplies, want to have a look at the list and ask me questions about what's on there, go ahead and do that. We're going to have a lot of time here today to ask questions, and I am an open book. And the reason for that is I'm 50 years old. I cannot make these rugs for everybody. So I'd much rather have a bunch of YouTube tutorials out there that, YouTube pays me a little bit of money every month. So it's kind of fun. I enjoy doing it. And I've met some super cool people here on the internet. Okay, so what do you guys want to know? Where are y'all from? We've got quite a few people here right now, 39 people. Hello, I'm Jolene. I'm from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Where are you guys from? Let's get the party started here. Who's going to go first? On my live this morning, we had like 96 thumbs up on it, which was crazy. I can't even believe that. So I've got my first thumbs up there. I can see it right now. Thanks, you guys. We appreciate that. Every minute you spend on the channel, of course, helps my small business, and that's great. But I kind of just want to, it can't all be about making money. This is actually fun for me too. From Ojima, Montana. Is that correct? Ojima. Hi from Australia. Hello, Debbie. Debbie, have you been here before? I kind of recognize that name. Were you here on a different video? Deborah Cameron, right? Yeah, Deborah from Fort Worth, Texas. Hello, Colleen. How's it going? Who is new here? Tell us where you're from and tell us if you're new here. And we'll get to know each other here pretty good. We had such a good time this morning. There were girls like saying goodbye to each other because they asked so many questions. That's why I'm here, right? You guys ask a bunch of questions. I'll tell you anything you want to know. I've got no freaking secrets. Like, why bother? But we had such a good time here this morning that at the end of it, all these ladies were, saying goodbye to each other, and it was super cool. You're new here, Colleen. Oh, and Deborah, you're new here too. That's fantastic. Well, welcome to the channel. I'm glad it popped up in your feed. A whole bunch of us are sitting home on a Friday night, right? I am married. My husband is currently out for his Friday night beers, which he does every Friday night. And because I have to do all these huge Christmas markets here right away, I really need to put a wiggle in it and get some sewing done. And I also need to make content for my YouTube channel because that's the only way it'll grow. And so I thought, well, instead of doing some long form tutorials, why don't I do some live videos, make some new friends, and we'll see what happens. So I sell all the things that I make. You can check them out on my website, which is Home Stitchery Decor. I ship to Canada and the United States if anybody is looking for some stuff. I started out selling the rugs, and I systematically added more mix and match products as I went along. So now I have rugs, tea towels, dish drying mats, soup bowl cozies, my whole collection of cards, which includes like mom cards, mother, thank you, congrats. And then I have a whole line of cards that are Christmas cards as well. Those ones sell like hotcakes. And essentially, I learned very early on to have a bunch of mix and match products. And when people come to my farmers market booth, they can go around and just pick things that go together. So they might buy a rug and a dish towel, or a dish towel and a dish drying mat, or a couple of soup bowl cozies and a dishcloth. And every stand I do is done by color, with all mix and match everything. So the cards, the dishcloths, I can't really show you guys right now, but it's all over my channel and it's all over my website. If you want to go and have a look, it's kind of fun. So what is everybody doing on a Friday night? I know what I'm doing. I'm sewing until my husband brings me probably a hamburger from Five Guys later on. I think I might be in his good books today. This morning I did a live, did a bunch of sewing, talked on camera live. And then I looked at the weather, and it was going to rain again, which is kind of a bummer. But it had been raining pretty hard the last week. In fact, last Friday night, my office flooded, which was super fun from all the rain. And the grass just really hasn't dried out. We're just kind of in a cycle of rain right now, which typically we're not in Calgary. Typically we get pretty warm Julys with some thunderstorms. But this year, I guess we're getting spoiled with a little bit of rain. Anyways, I looked at the weather at lunchtime and it was like, oh gosh, it's going to rain again. And I knew he wanted to go out tonight. So I went out and mowed the lawn for us, which was fun. Got that all done. And then I came in, had some lunch at about 3 o'clock. And now I'm back here doing another live tonight. So why not? I'm going to sew anyway. Might as well make some friends, right? So we've got, holy crap, guys, we've got a ton of people here. There's like 35 people. Hello, everyone. Hi, how's it going today? So the fabric I'm using, I'll just recap because some people are new here. This is Benetrex Botanical Radiance. There's 42 strips in this bundle of fabric, which is 2.5 inches wide. I'm mitering the fabric right sides together to start the rug. Then we're going to sew the batting into the rug, and then we're going to sew the actual rug, the round and round part. So as long as my phone doesn't die and my mic stays live, we will be able to get this done. Yogi Swari. Did I say that right? Yogi Swari? Gosh, I hope I said that right. From UK. We're in the UK. The UK is a big place, you know. It's kind of like when people say, oh, I'm from Canada. And you look at the map, and I don't know if you guys know this, but Canada is a pretty big country. So I said it right. Awesome. Buckinghamshire. Well, if that doesn't sound regal, I don't know what does. That's fantastic. Welcome to the channel. I'm so glad you're here. Are you new? That's a good place. Yes, you're new here. Well, welcome to the channel. I hope you like it. If you guys want to get notified of videos like this when I'm doing them, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell button as well. And then YouTube should tell you when I'm going to go live again. And hopefully you're on the air. I don't really know how to set it up where I tell you I'm live yet. Maybe I should figure that part out so I could like pre-announce when I'm going to be sewing something live. If you guys want to, you know, put it on your calendar or whatever, or just go into your sewing room because you know I'm going to be there Tuesday at 4 o'clock, but I haven't quite figured that out yet. Every day I learn something new. So maybe I'll learn that and figure that out. So all of the tools I'm using here are in the video description. There's a link to Amazon and it's got all of the supplies. So it's got the thread, it's got the needles, it's got the sewing machine. You can get some jelly roll fabric off of Amazon too, pretty inexpensively. And essentially I give you the lowdown on exactly what I'm using for this rug. If you choose to purchase something through a link because you like it, please know that I am getting a small commission for that. And last month on Amazon, I got like $17. So I'm not making bank on it by any means. But you know what? It is a little bit extra and we could all use a little bit extra, right? So I do share links. And then when the video is over, I'm going to put in, you know, the full video description for you guys if you ever want to come back and read it. And I will have links to all kinds of things that I like to use. One company in particular is called Connecting Threads. I'm an affiliate for them. They have some really good 2.5 inch strips fabric, jelly rolls, strip fabric roll-ups. Each company kind of calls them something different. What do these guys call them? These ones are just called strips. It's not called a jelly roll. So we're not making a jelly roll rug here, folks. We're making a fabric strip rug. So just to clarify, to be a little correct in our language, because somebody owns the copyright to that jelly roll. This is kind of fun, actually. I haven't done an island-themed rug, I don't think ever. And I have sewn over 1,500 rugs, so please go ahead, ask me anything that you want to know. You can ask me about my business, the products that I'm using, anything you see here that you want to know, go ahead and ask, and we'll hopefully get you guys going on your own sewing projects. Sometimes I think it's nice just to have some company in your sewing room. So thanks for being my company here on a Friday night. Okay, so the next step is we're going to cut the salvage off the end, and then we're going to clip all these apart. So I have a bowl here. I love a nice bowl, and just going to cut the salvage end off, and then each one we're going to clip the thread so it comes apart. And then you can see here where I've mitered it, we need to cut this off here. So I don't have to be too fussy about it. I'm just going to give it a 1/4 inch. Nobody's going to see that on the inside. So now when we pull it apart, of course, we've got a straight line with the fabric. Hi, Jean. How are you? Where are you from? Are you new here? All the things. What are you doing on a Friday night? I get a little distracted because I'm talking to the TV. That's where I see your comments. Hi, Vilma. And I should be actually talking over here to the camera, but you know what? I am not that concerned. I'm not that concerned. I've kind of given up my ego a little bit to be able to do this because honestly, I was so freaking scared. Hi, Jean from Massachusetts. I was so scared to do videos like when I first started, like horribly, horribly scared. And if you go and look at some of my first videos on this channel, you will see I was just like a nervous wreck, trying to make sure everything was perfect. And as it turns out, it's way more fun if you're not perfect, and you make a lot more friends, and we're having a good time. You're great, thank you. Well, thanks, Jean. What are you up to tonight besides watching a YouTube live with some lady from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, sewing a rug of all things, an island rug? If only I was on an island right now, but I am not, sadly. Maybe this time next year I will be on a holiday on an island. But right now, I need to put a wiggle in it. As I've mentioned, I do these huge Christmas markets. So when I say huge, I mean one market I did a couple of years ago, they had 75,000 people for their foot traffic over, was it 2 weekends? 2 or 3 weekends. 2 weekends. It was crazy. It was absolutely... I don't know, goodness sakes. I make all my stuff myself, or I order my products, like my textile designs on products that I don't produce. So, for instance, I can make some shower curtains or pillow covers. I typically use like a print on demand service for that. And otherwise, I hand make all of my stuff, which makes me very popular at the Christmas markets because people really like quality handmade products, as I have learned over the years. So I have a pretty good following. I have, some people that show up on the very first day of the very first Christmas market and try to buy all my new colors before the rest of the crowds get in, which is super fun. I lost your talking. Oh, you guys can't hear me again? Hang on. Let's check the mic. Can anybody else hear me? Can anybody hear me at all? Let's see. Is it just Jean that's having a problem? Said hi. I lost your talking. If you guys can't hear me, let me know, please. If you can hear me, also let me know. So I don't have to reset the mic. Yes. I hear you. Okay, Colleen can hear me. So Jean, check your device, please, because maybe you need to click on it again or something, because I'm looking at my mic and it's saying it's on, and I can see my flashing button over on my phone, which has like the connector thing for the mic. So yeah, lots of other people can hear me. So sorry about that, Jean. That's a you problem, which sounds terrible. But Jean, maybe you can leave the live and come back on. Maybe it's turned itself off on your device for some reason. But I'm here and other people can hear me. So we're going to go from that. All right. Who else is here? I can hear you fine. DJ Lee, thank you very much. Elizabeth, hi from Florida. Hello, Elizabeth. Brenda, oh my gosh. Oh no, free Chuck. Where are you from, Brenda? Holy, that's quite a name. Hey. And that's what you did. Okay, Jean is back, everybody. So yay, Jean got it figured out. She's back and in the mix here. Brenda, where are you from, dear, with the last name like that? That's crazy. My husband's last name is different than mine. It's Blaskovitz, which people find really hard to spell. And he's Austrian. His background is Austrian. Oh, and you're from Wetaskiwin. Are you Ukrainian, Brenda? Just curious. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. I don't want anybody here feeling uncomfortable. So please don't give away information if you don't feel comfortable doing it. But typically, I don't think there's a whole bunch of scammers on Let's Sew a Rug channel. they're not. I hope they're not here. And if you are here, go away. Nobody wants you. Silly people. Okay, so we're cutting the strips here. We're almost done with this portion of it. This only takes a second. I just take a 1/4 inch off. It doesn't have to be complicated. When I first started making these rugs, I actually started with tears and curse words, like actual freaking tears. This thing drove me bonkers. It would take me like 4 days to make a rug. Oh, your late husband was Romanian. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense, Brenda. Hi, Darlene. Okay, it signs you in as ready, but I love being called Darlene. I'm in Treon. Where's that? Just curious. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to have all of you guys here. We have like, oh my gosh, how many people are here right now? 58 people. That's crazy. That's totally crazy. Hopefully I didn't talk too loud into my mic there. I don't want to hurt anybody's ears. But for those of you who are just joining us, we're making a fabric rug. I've joined all the strips together by mitering the ends. Now I'm cutting them apart. Then we're going to sew batting into the tube, which is actually going to take a while. So we're going to be here for a while. And then we're going to sew the round and round portion of the rug. So I have everything set up here. Georgia, close to Chart, Tennessee. Well, that's fantastic. And this just came up on your YouTube. Hey, come watch this lady. Isn't that crazy how YouTube works? This morning I had people from Iraq, from London, from Winnipeg, Manitoba, which is in Canada. And we just had a great time. It was so much fun. And I think I'll do more of these because honestly, it is fun. Okay, so I've got all of my strips cut here. I'll just get the selvage off this last one. And now I'm going to show you, we're going to start the batting, basically. Try to be pretty quick about it. But you know, this is live, so something will go wrong. Because if anything is going to go wrong, it will go wrong when you're sewing something live. And you just need to get over yourself and take a drink when you need to. Hello, Margie. Margie or Margie? Margie, I think. And Chattanooga, Tennessee. Golly, I can't even believe. Where are you from, Margie? Okay, here's what we're going to do, guys. I've got batting. It's under my table in a great big hamper here. I cut it myself. It's Pellon batting with scrim, and it's in the Amazon link if you want it. And what we do is we lay our batting down on top of the fabric. The batting is also cut at 2.5 inches. So I don't know if you can see it there, but I'm down, a good 3/4 of an inch from the top. And we're going to use the Clover tube maker tool. You're from Texas. Hi, Margie. Hi, welcome. Welcome, Margie. Okay, so we've got the Clover tool. There's 4 pieces. They come apart like this. Pretty simple. Let's click it apart. Now you're going to start with the two biggest pieces. Fold your fabric so that the one side folds into the center and the other side folds into the center. Grab your clover tube maker. Sorry if that was too loud for you guys. And squish your fabric through the tube maker. So now it's going to look like this. And now what we need to do is essentially fold this all in half one more time. Just kind of make sure it's all lined up. Actually, I should have put the clicky thing in the end. Put the clicky thing in the end so it'll actually fold as you go here. And we're going to do that one more time. Now we folded it in half again. So now it looks like this. And the end is still open, but why is there no salvage? Do you need to cut off the triangle? I've considered not to, but I don't want to destroy the carpet if it becomes very visible. Lisa, I'm not sure I completely understand your question, but I'm thinking when you're talking about these, is that correct? When I had, like, I mitered the ends end to end, and then this was the triangle, and then this is what we cut off. And the reason that we cut it off, because if we didn't cut it off, we'd have a big glob of fabric when they join. But when you do cut it off and you pull the fabric over, everything goes into a nice line. So yes, okay. That's why, because otherwise you're going to have this great big bulky piece of fabric. That's why we cut off that triangle at the back of it. So we want the fabric in the rug to be as smooth as possible. That's why if you're doing batting, I always butt up the ends and then zigzag them together as well instead of overlapping them. So you don't have any big obvious bumps. I'll try to do this so you guys can see, but essentially we've got the end here. It's 3/4 over top of the batting. We're going to fold it down so it's the same as the batting. So just fold it over. Then we're going to do a little corner piece on the end, like just fold it in at a diagonal and a diagonal on the other side, like you're going to wrap a present, and then fold it in half and then in half again. And now it looks like, hopefully this will stay. If it doesn't, I'll refold it, but it looks like that. And now we're going to fold it in half one more time. And you'll see that I have a nice blunt end at the top of it. And we're starting the tube. So I'm just going to use a zigzag stitch. One of my things did pop out while I was doing that. So just refold it here. We're going to use a straight stitch on this, and the stitch length is going to be at 3. The needle position is in the middle, and the tension is set at 5. I see 4 machines behind you. Are you a teacher? Hi from Arizona. Hi, Julie. I do teach here on my YouTube channel all of the time. So if you've just signed on to the live here, I'm Home Stitchery Decor. I sell modern farmhouse home decor, a lot of which I make right here in my basement. And I teach everything I do here on my YouTube channel. And now I'm doing lives. I just started doing lives. I did some like a couple of years ago, but right now I'm trying to really increase my production. So I have a bunch of finished products done for Christmas, plus build my YouTube audience at the same time. So you kind of need to spread yourself out a little bit, and lives, I don't need to edit as much. So the reason I have so many machines is because I sew so many different projects, and I use different machines for different reasons. I use the Singer Heavy Duty for these rugs because it's a non-computerized again. Oh, hi, so you were here this morning. I was telling everyone how much fun we had this morning, so you go ahead and tell them, just in case they don't believe me. But I told you, I said, I'll be back. I don't know if you missed it, but I went outside, I mowed the lawn for my husband because it's going to rain again, had some lunch, and then decided I needed to get back to work, so turned my camera on again. So welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, the reason I use the Singer Heavy Duty is because it is not a computerized machine, and therefore you know, I'm going to beat the snot out of it sewing 1,500 rugs, and you're going to wear out the parts whether or not it's computerized or not. And so I would rather not spend the money on a computerized machine for this job. That's why. Yeah. Great fun this morning. Love the live stream. Yeah, we did have fun this morning, didn't we? It was a good time. I was telling them everybody was like saying goodbye to each other at the end and stuff. So yeah, it's back. Was it Jane? Was it Jane that your name again? I think it was Jane, because you had a different name than just your icon there, right? Hello again. Okay, we've got people from Arizona. So go ahead and tell everybody your name. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you? Nice to have you guys here. It's nice to have something on the freaking television or screen or whatever that isn't what I call murder television. Good Lord. Every entertainment show, somebody's murdering somebody. Every time you turn on the news, somebody's murdering somebody. Every time you turn on, like, well, not so much Instagram and TikTok, unless you go down that rabbit hole. No, you're Shirley. Why did I think you were Jane? Did you tell us your name this morning? I don't think you did. Because there was Jane, Tina, yourself. Oh gosh, now who else was on there this morning? Anyway, it doesn't matter. We were having a good time this morning. So if you're new here, oh, hi, Ruby. Hi, Ruby. I had an aunt whose name was Ruby. She was just lovely. And yeah, she was one of my favorite aunts, actually. I just loved her. And we used to have a family friend. Oh, Rose was there. Yes, Rose was there. That's right. So exactly. Shirley, I should say. Okay, so we did have a family, I guess she would have been a cousin. Yeah, cousin, whose name was Shirley. I'll tell you guys a story about Shirley. She was fabulous. My dad would take us over there, even just as young kids, for a visit. And every single time, sorry, just needed a second. Oh. Every single time we would go over there, she would have a bag of treats in a brown paper bag. So she baked all the time. And there was myself and my two sisters, and we would alternate who got to carry the bag of treats. Anyway, I didn't know that was going to bring anything up, but she was fantastic and I loved her. Look at this. I missed a little piece here. So I'm going to have to go back and sew that back in a while. Okay, Deborah, how many machines do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I have a treadle machine out in my living room, which I've never used. But you know what? It was for sale on Marketplace one day and nostalgia kicked in, so I bought it. And then I sent my better half over to this lady's house to pick it up in the middle of a work day. Yes. Okay, and what we are making, I'm just going to answer that question. I can't see who asked that question. No name. Okay, no name. Hi, no name. We're making a fabric strip rug. So far, we got the fabric strip out. It comes like this. It's Benetrix fabric, Botanical Gardens or Botanical Radiance by Quilt in a Day. They're 2.5-inch strips of fabric. So they come in a bundle of a whole bunch of different colors. They're 100% cotton. I joined, what is going on with this thing? I joined the fabric strips already by mitering them together. And now we are sewing the cotton into the rug. I'm just going to see if I have a different white, because I think that one is pulling on the bobbin. for some reason. So when you're in a hurry, like I said, anything that can go wrong will go wrong if you're doing a live. So I'm just going to replace this with a full spool. And if you were here this morning, you know that my live, I ran out of thread right at the very end of it. And we couldn't even finish. Very cool. I usually fall asleep to Mindhunter Murder Television. That's funny. I'd be surprised if I single-handedly keep the license for it alive here in Norway. Oh my goodness, that is so funny. I can't watch it. I just refuse. I'm like, why is everybody being mean to one another? Why do we always have to have murder on the I literally make fun of my husband because I'll be sitting in here and he'll be listening to murder television out in our living room, and I'll hear people screaming, and I will just start screaming in here for him to turn it down. Like not screaming at him saying, turn it down, but I start screaming like I'm the one being murdered because it's quite hilarious to me. Okay, I know what you guys are thinking. What is with this straw? And essentially, I like to not have my thread wiggle, wiggle, wiggle all the way through my machine. So I use that straw all the time as just another guide for my thread to reduce the whether or not it gets, I'm sewing pretty fast here, right? Like whether or not it gets caught up there. So anything that I can do to keep the thread going in straight. You're welcome for answering your questions. What type of machine am I on now? I am on a Singer heavy duty 4452 machine, and every single supply, I believe that's Michelle, but every single supply I use for this project is in the Amazon link, which is in the video description. I managed to get it in the video description before I went live. So if you're curious as to what I'm using, how much it costs, anything at all, the type of thread, the type of needles, the type of bobbins, everything is in that list. And if you decide to purchase something from that list, I do receive small commissions if you look at it and purchase it on the same day. So if you look at it and go back a week later, I don't get nothing, but that's okay. That's if you're just in it for the money all the time, kind of defeats the purpose, right, of being here. Always wanted to go to Norway. My mother was a full-blooded Norwegian. Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Norway too. It sounds like a cool place to visit. Also, I want to go to Iceland. Val, I barely have time to sew and I lack any drive. Well, I don't know if it's a priority for you. You have to write it down and make time for it. This is my business, so it's a priority for me, and I'm having a good time while I do it. So I'm going to do it. I'm not a motivational coach. I'm a sewing coach. But I bet you there's a bunch of people on YouTube that have like actual how to get yourself motivated channels. And they probably have some really freaking good advice. So maybe you could check it out. You never know, right? Yeah, I want to go to Iceland so bad. I want to go sit in the hot springs. I want to see the northern lights. I want to eat their yogurt. I want to go driving on those funky roads. I want to go see the puffins. I believe they have puffins there. Yes, I know the sewing machines are expensive. Once you get going with sewing, you'll never want to go back. That's what I've heard about it so many times. This machine actually is not very expensive at all. I think this one was like, I'm from Canada, so this is Canadian dollars, folks, but under $300. And I know if you're just starting out, I know. When I first started my business, I would go to the store a million times and I would buy 1 meter of material at a time. It was an absolute nightmare. I get it. So when I say I started from scratch, I started from actual literal scratch. I had nothing. I had an old sewing machine, a 1972 or 74 Singer that my mother had given me. And I started sewing on that. I made a quilt on it, and the quilt won at the fair. I entered it in a fair contest, like where they have a country fair. I entered it in it and it won, and I was very thankful for that. And then I actually I started sewing the rugs here first, and I got, pretty happy with what I was able to accomplish with the rugs. And then I got really actually very sick, and I had a massive tumor in my abdomen, like one of those girl tumors that, girls get. And I was sick for quite a few years before they figured out what the heck was wrong with me. And after they did the surgery, they're like, you were really sick. And I wasn't sure how much I would be able to do for my regular job. So my husband said, hey, do you want, what do you want to do like at home? And I said, oh, I'd like to craft. And this room needed renovation anyway. So we renovated the room by ourselves while I was recovering from a tumor with, all this furniture, the used sewing machine, like the furniture. Some of it I got from my old work where I was a wedding photographer and it was a family business. So I got, some of the tables and the drawers. But this big table you see me sewing on right now, I got on Facebook Marketplace. And it was cheap, and the lady's husband delivered it to our house, which was really good. And I painted it. And everything you see in my craft office, we bought, discounted, or it was given to me by a friend. And then we did all the work in here myself. Yeah, Val. See, Val, this is why you need a group chat here, right? Because Val is now offering some motivation advice. Like, sometimes you get stuck in your head for even how to answer a question, and then somebody else on here is going to know the answer. So she's got, start out with a small project so you'll see gratification fast. I committed to 30 minutes a day before going to bed. You will be surprised how much you will accomplish in a short time. That is really great advice, Margie. That's so sweet of you. I mean, I didn't even know how to answer it. I'm like, just, I'm sure there's lots of gurus on YouTube that do motivation. That's just not like, I'm not an expert at that. So thank you for stepping up. Yeah, Deborah Cameron is like, yes. Does anybody else have some motivation advice? Maybe that's what I should have done instead of, I didn't know the answer, right? But if you guys have any advice for how this lady can get motivated, drop it in the comments. See if we can help somebody out here. Just let that go for a second and see if anybody's got some motivation, tips. I have never lacked motivation in my whole entire life. I've never experienced that. I don't know what that would be like. I can sympathize, but I can't offer suggestions for it because I just don't know the answer to that. That's not my wheelhouse, apparently. But we don't all need to be good at everything. That's why we have friends. This to me is the most boring part of the whole entire process. And I'm telling you, this Clover tool makes this so much quicker. If you want to see a full tutorial on the Clover tool, I do have one on my channel. Just hit subscribe and it'll be in the sewing playlist. And I also have a shorter tutorial for how to do this project where I'm not just sitting here yapping at a live stream, but an actual properly formatted, edited video. And it is at 42,000 views right now. So it's really quite a good tutorial. So if you want to go ahead and watch that, it's called the Ultimate Rag Rug or Jelly Roll Rug. Anyway, when you go on my channel, it's the picture for that video actually has 4 rugs in it and then my logo in the center. So that's the one where I walk you through there. I've got my top 6 tips video as well. And that's just for the rugs. And then there's all kinds of other sewing projects on there as well, you guys. So tea towels, dish drying mats, soup bowl cozies. What else do I have on there? I've got my tea towels. There you go. You have to be okay if you are sewing and not wasting time, if you're doing something for your soul. That's so sweet. This is a priority in my lifestyle. Yeah. Sewing and crafting is just for me. This is what Margie says. It keeps me centered in all other aspects of my life. You know what? I feel that so much. Not just with the sewing, but I recently started gardening again after many, many, many years. The tea towels are cute, Margie. You'll love them. But now every single day I go out and work in my garden. I started container gardening with cut flowers. So I have, 20 or so containers. And I started with bulbs, and they're doing really well. I have Ixia, ranunculus. I don't know if I said that right. And gladiolas. And then I filled everything in with pansies and petunias and marigolds. And they're doing fabulous. But that's a newer project for me this year. And then my husband and I set everything up on... okay, how much are the jelly roll rugs there? Or jelly rolls? So in Canada, they range from like $60 to $85 Canadian. They are ridiculously expensive. However, for me, I am very fortunate. I have worked my butt off. Hi, Gigi. Were you here before? Gigi? Is it Gigi? The garden is lovely. But yes, they are very pricey. They're very pricey. The name of my site is Home Stitchery Decor. So it's HOME and then Stitchery, which is STITCHERY, decor.com. It's the same as my YouTube channel. Everything's the same. The email is the same. The website is the same. The Shopify store is the same. The Instagram is the same. The TikTok is the same. The Pinterest, it's all Home Stitchery Decor. Thanks for being here. Okay, if you guys are new here, please remember to subscribe to the channel. And then that way you'll get notified when I've got new projects coming out. You got to hit the bell button too, because sometimes YouTube doesn't even tell you, like if they've got a new video, if you don't have that bell thing on. But come back often. I've got loads and loads of videos on my channel already. And of course, I'm making more all the time, which is super fun. But the jelly rolls, the pricing of them, I'm very fortunate that I've worked my butt off. And now I have commercial accounts, so I can order all my fabric wholesale. So I'm trying to be here on a regular basis. Yes, Margie, I am. So I did one this morning. I'll be back probably over the weekend if I can squeeze another live in. But you can always watch the lives on a replay as well. Yeah. The round rug is just the same. It just starts off a little bit slower, tighter on the corners, but it's the same. The reason I make the oval rugs is because I sell more of the oval rugs. So I sell them typically in 3 sizes: 40 strips, 30 strips, and 20 strips. That gives me a good variety while I'm at the farmer's market for people that are looking for different sizes of rugs. And because I'm selling them like pre-done, I'm not taking custom orders for them. That means when I buy, a whole bunch of jelly rolls. So I buy, let's just go over this here for a second so you understand. Okay, so I bought 6 of these jelly rolls, right? Or fabric strip bundles. So I typically make 2 that have 40 strips. So we'll actually just use the one that I'm making plus this one. So we'll have 2 that are 40 strip rug. Then I'll have 2 that are a 30 strip rug, and then I get a 20 off of this. And then I do 2 again that are a 30 strip rug, and I get a 20 off this, because the medium size is the size I sell the most. So I want more 30 strip rugs. And then that way it's perfect for how many bundles of fabric I order. That's how I break them up. And I'm not wasting any fabric, because fabric is going to be your biggest expense if you're doing this. So yeah. And what did I are here on a regular basis? And no, I don't think the round rug is harder. What is harder is those rectangular rugs where you just do the strips and then you sew the strips end to end. I've done a few of those and I've sworn off of them forever. Like, I'm never going to do that again. They always go cattywonker on me. They don't look very nice, in my opinion, because they're all wavy one way or the other. And I'm trying to make really high-end products that people buy, and that just did not look good, and I hated it. So I'm not going to do that ever again. I'm not making a rectangular one for anybody. And of course, when I was first started, I did so much for everybody. Anybody asked me for anything special, oh yeah, no, I can do that. And this one lady, I love her to pieces. She bought from me at my very first big Christmas market and has been coming back following me around. I can probably do a round rug tutorial one day, but they're not hard. They start off just the same and you just go round and round. So remember this morning where I was like, you need to give some give at the beginning of the circle? That would just be the same for the whole round rug until it all was laying flat where you didn't have to give it any give. So yeah, anyway, this I'll tell you the story actually. Okay, so I started selling these rugs and I thought, okay, am I going to be able to do this for work? I had been sick, yada yada. And then I made 3 of them, and we had a party here, and I have 3 bathrooms, and people came outside of my bathrooms with like the rugs rolled up, like boop, 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 under their arm, like they were going to steal them. And I thought, okay, I'm going to be onto something here. And so I just started making stuff, and my very first like big Christmas market was at a community center, and I just had, a table and a little hanging rack, and I had like one of everything because I thought that was going to be the answer. Turns out that's not the answer. Joanna, if your rug's not flat, I swear to you, stay and watch the round and round of this one if you want. But that ultimate rug tutorial that I have on my channel that has 40,000 views, it is the actual step-by-step how to do all of it. And I very specifically show you very close up in the actual sewing, going round and round, and I walk you through how to get that rug flat. So if it's not flat right now, go and watch that. You might have to rip it out and start, but that is the tutorial you need to see for that. And it's called the Ultimate Jelly Roll Fabric Rub Tutorial, and it's on my channel. It has 42,000 views. I've made 1,500 rugs, so I'm not lying to you when I say I have made a lot of rugs and I have figured out how to do it. So go ahead and do that. Okay, so back to this Christmas market with this lovely lady. She was just amazing. So she showed up at this market and she just loved all my handmade stuff. And she bought a rug, and then she wanted me to make a rectangular rug. And she's pretty much been back every single year to buy rugs for me. But she asked for this rectangular rug, and I said yes, and I did it. And her and I both agree it was not the best decision. But she paid for it, and she's been following me around since 2019. Different Christmas markets. She was even at a Christmas market last year. I was working, and you're stuck there. You don't have any help, all that kind of things. Do you have 50 comments to trigger? No, not on that video. So if you, any of the videos where the comments have triggered, I'll go over that in just a second here. So just give me a second, Shirley, and I'll talk about that. But 1 second here on these Christmas markets. So this lady showed up at the Christmas market, and she, I said to myself, okay, I don't have any help. I was so busy, like so busy. I was just absolutely swamped. Didn't have a helper that day. Couldn't get out of my booth. Really needed to go to the washroom. And I manifested this person. I said to myself, in 5 minutes, look at your clock. Within 5 minutes, somebody you really like is going to show up here and be able to watch your booth for a minute. And I kid you not, it was like my prayers had been answered, and I saw her coming from around a corner, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. Can you watch my booth for a minute? I just need to run to the washroom. So off I ran to the bathroom, and lo and behold, her and her husband were selling my stuff while I was away, which is crazy. Okay, let's answer these questions. If you guys are new here, hi, I'm Jolene. I'm from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and we are sewing a rug, a fabric strip rug here today. We've got the fabric. It's 2.5 inch wide fabric. We're sewing it with MICROLOANS batting, which is also cut at 2.5 inches. And we're going to stuff the rug here. Excuse me. I knew I should have taken a drink a couple minutes ago. Now I'm going to cough. Okay, so we're sorry about that, you guys. So we're sewing the tubes, and then we're going to sew the round and round. But what Shirley was asking here is I have a bunch of videos. One sec. I have a bunch of videos on my channel, and if you go and look at the pictures of the like the video trailer picture, the thumbnails, they've got little presents on them, little gold presents. And any video where I'm doing a giveaway will have those presents on them. And you have to watch the video. It will tell you how many comments you need that it needs to have on the video in order to trigger the giveaway. And I have 2 videos on my channel right now where the giveaway has not been given away yet because there isn't enough comments on the videos. Now, in the comments of those videos, you will see when the winner is announced, because I will make a comment in there that says this giveaway is closed and the winner is so and so. You have to be okay with me contacting you to give you the prize. I did give away a jelly roll, an actual roll of fabric. I'm giving away a tube maker on one of them, and there was something else I was giving. Maybe it was 2 things of fabric and 1 tube maker. And then last week I gave away another tube maker during a live video, so that was kind of fun too. So all the videos that have the little gold presents on them, those are the you can win videos. Please spend some time on the video and comment. There's all the rules and regulations for how to get in on the fun or on those videos. It's very clear. And then I go back and count them manually to make sure that we got everything lined up. And like I said, you have to be okay with me contacting you. And it's not affiliated with YouTube at all. So don't go crying to YouTube if something doesn't work out. Okay, did you get to 50 comments? No, and so I didn't get to 50 comments on that video. I'm sure I didn't. So go ahead and check those ones out. There's a big playlist. I've been on YouTube for quite a while, so you could probably spend a week here just binging my stuff if you wanted to. And if you do, that would be super cool. But yeah, I make the stuff, I sell the stuff, and every minute that people spend interacting with my YouTube channel actually helps me earn some income. And then that little bit of income helps me do the giveaways, which is really fun. Who doesn't want free stuff? And I'm determined not to turn on the news and the television and just not only watch crap, but also like contribute to it. So I want to do some fun stuff. And because I'm 50 years old and my give a crap broke a while ago, I'm doing what I want now, which is fun stuff. So who here is in that same boat? Where you're like, I'm a little bit older and this is all baloney and I'm going to go and have some fun and, you know, just try to be a good human. That's the goal. All right, who's here now? We've got quite a few people watching. If you haven't said hello, say hello. Let us know where you're from. What are you all doing on a Friday night? I agree with you. Yeah, I'm in that boat, right? I'm like, honestly, you know, I don't even worry about like hater comments on my channel here anymore. I just don't. I've gotten a few, and really, I think nobody doing better than me is going to put me down. Like nobody. No middle-aged woman who's watching me make my stuff is going to say, you know, you look fat today. Like just one lady commented, I made a short video and I put it out. It was about my dog actually, who had like, it was kind of funny because she's such a good little dog, a little angel, 99.9% of the time. And then at Christmas time this last year, I think she lost her ever-loving mind. And she grabbed a roll of toilet paper out of my bathroom and strung this thing straight through to my living room. And then she got busted, of course. So she's sitting there on the carpet, like the edge of the carpet in the living room. And I'm like, Cinnamon, what the heck is wrong with you? And this lady came on my video and was like, I don't like your voice. Your voice is super annoying. And so I reverse searched her because, you know, I can do that. Don't mess with me. I used to be an insurance adjuster, so I know how to find some stuff. But anyway, I reverse searched her. This bobbin is done. I don't know why it keeps doing that. And I said to her, I don't know where the heck she was from, Wisconsin or something. I'm like, yeah, you know, you think people from Wisconsin would be nicer. And she never said another word to me. It's like, listen, if you're going to be a crabby pants, be prepared to be called out on it, like with your profile picture. It's just not necessary. What if we were all kind to one another? Wouldn't that be something? Hi, Elizabeth. How are you? Where are you from? Elizabeth Torres is here. Welcome to the channel. You get sewing so fast on this with thin thread, and it's bound to catch up in your needle here once in a while. That's just the way it goes. Haters are always going to hate. I agree. They are. I just think, how sad. Like you have nothing to be happy about? What's wrong with you? I don't do that. And as a result, I have very few female friends. That's a lie, actually. That's a bald-faced lie. I have so many friends now, it's ridiculous. But I had to get rid of all my crappy friends first. So there was a whole bunch of people that hit the road, that I blocked, that I stopped interacting with. And then once I did that and realized it was actually my own doing, I figured out how to make some new friends, and they're actually really decent people. So, hello, Gillian Geeds. Did I say that right? Hello, how are you? Welcome to the channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this part of it takes bloody forever. I'm not going to lie. We can look and see how long it takes at the end of the video, but I think this morning it was just over 2 hours, 2.5 hours maybe. We started at 9:25. I can't remember. I'd have to go look at the video, but it was just under 2 hours, I believe, was the video on once it got loaded up to YouTube, because you do the live and it's live, but then it takes a while for YouTube to like actually process the video after you've turned the camera off. So it's kind of weird how that works, but this will be available on a replay if anybody wants to come back, if they've missed something and they wanted to, see what we were doing here. But if you're new here, because people come and go off the live throughout the whole process, we're sewing a fabric rug with 2.5-inch strips of cotton fabric with Pellon batting with scrim. There's an Amazon link in the video description for all of the supplies. That is what we are doing. Yeah, it was about 2 hours. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you for making. Yeah. Oh, and see, the Green Family Farm just asked me, what are we making? We are making a fabric strip rug, otherwise known as a rag rug or a jelly roll rug, except for we're using fabric strips. So technically it's not a jelly roll rug because this is not called a jelly roll. It's called fabric strips. The fabric is Botanical Radiance by Quilt in a Day. And the maker is Benetrex. And we've got 40 2.5-inch wide strips of fabric. The batting is 2.5 inches as well. I always use the batting the same width of the fabric. The same width, yeah, exactly. So it gives you a nice loft on the rug. I think I just buggered something up. Nope. It was fun and I was out of breath. And I had a coughing fit on that one, and I'm going to try not to have a coughing fit on this one. So you guys have to bear with me taking my little sips of stuff. So these usually take me about an hour and a half from start to finish for the big 40 strip rugs if I'm not talking, because I just motor. But of course, when you're talking, you have to pay attention a little bit differently, and it kind of slows things down a little bit. But they are super, super duper fun to make. And I've made over 1,500 of them. I sell them on my website. If you guys are new here, it's Home Stitchery Decor. It's the same as my YouTube channel. And I ship to Canada and the United States. And I teach all the fun stuff I do right here on my YouTube channel. So go ahead and check out the whole entire playlist of videos if you're into that kind of thing. And I sell some pre-made kits. And yeah, we just kind of hang out on YouTube and have some fun. My printer just went. I don't know why it does that. This is creepy as heck, man. When your printer just randomly decides to start cleaning itself, I don't like that. I would prefer it did it when you turned it on. But apparently it will do an update anytime your computer's turned on and, clean the ink heads or some silly thing like that. And it just did it. And I always think, who the heck is here in my sewing room making that thing go off? Make me jump out of my skin. Quite a nervous person that way. Yes, we had fun. All right. So does anybody have any questions about how the rug is getting made here? Anything about the equipment? Who's got a funny story to tell me about? I'll tell you a funny story. Okay, this is actually hilarious. So I'm on this Facebook group that's all about jelly roll rugs. It was yesterday or the day before. Some lady made a comment that said, it was essentially prompting the people on Facebook to join in the conversation. And it said, never will I ever fill in the blank about a jelly roll rug. And people were commenting on it. And the funniest one was, this one lady said, never will I ever sew a jelly roll fabric rug with the with pink in the center of it, because it looked like something unmentionable. And I thought, oh my goodness, that is hilarious, right? Because when you see these rugs done, here's a red one. I can show you this one I got almost sewed this morning. But if you see the center of this and then you imagine this just pink with a darker shade of pink around the outside, I mean, you can figure out what we're talking about. Anyway, it was so freaking hilarious that everybody was laughing at this comment that this person had made. And she said that her rug was hiding under an armoire because she didn't want anybody to see it. And the funniest thing was the laugh comments when I saw the post were at 69. And I was like, oh my goodness. So then I pointed that out, and boy, did we all have a chuckle. Like just a bunch of old ladies laughing about inappropriate things. But it was so funny. So note to self, don't make a rug with, varying shades of pink, solid colored pinks right in the center of that. You may regret it. Were you there, Cynthia? Because that story was hilarious. I was dying. I'm like, that's the funniest thing I've seen on the internet in a long time. It was so freaking funny. But yeah, now anytime I'm making a rug, I'm going to have that in the back of my head of like, don't put pink in the center. Like, just don't do it. Goodness sakes. And I've made a couple of rugs. Like I made a rug, 4 years ago now. I thought it was the butt ugliest rug I have ever made in my entire life. It was horrid. It was absolutely freaking horrid. There was no way I was gonna sell that rug, or so I thought. But it was all like these really monochromatic, stark grays contrasted with black, and like a crosshatch pattern. I don't even know where I got the fabric from, but to me it was just absolutely horrible. Yeah, it was so funny, Cynthia. It was on this Jelly Roll Facebook group. Anyways, yeah, I sold this terrible colored rug. Thought there's no way I'm ever going to sell that freaking thing, but I took it to a market anyway. And wasn't it the first one that sold that day? I couldn't believe it. This young, like, hipster couple came up and they saw it hanging in the booth and they were like, that's mine. They just absolutely loved it. And I thought, oh my goodness sakes, I am so glad that doesn't even have to be in my sewing room ever again. But I made it and I didn't want to waste it. So I was like, well, what am I going to do with this stupid thing? Like, I just did not like it at all. It's terrible. But there's no accounting, for taste, and my taste is going to be different than somebody else's taste. So I try to make rugs. Like I've made 1,500 rugs, right? So I'm not making them all for myself. Goodness sakes, how could I possibly do that? And that's why I teach it here on YouTube as well. Because honestly, I cannot make rugs for the entire planet. I just can't. So if you want to learn how to make a rug, you're either going to learn from me or you're going to learn from somebody else. And I'm of the opinion of, why don't you learn from me? And if you want to buy some fabric or a pair of snips on Amazon, because I gave you the link for it, and I make a few bucks doing it that way, then why don't I do that? Because you're going to learn either way. Yeah, surely they do have different tastes for sure. Like this one too. I mean, this is kind of fun, tropical greens and blues and stuff, but it's not my colors. Like I would not put this in my house anywhere. I like it, but it's just not my decor palette. So it's going to live in somebody else's house and they're going to be over the moon. They're going to have like a Hawaiian tropic bathroom or something that they want a new rug in. And by the way, these rugs make absolutely fantastic bath mats. If you haven't thought of that, that's how they started with me. Is I made 3, put them in our 3 bathrooms, threw a party, and people were stealing them. And I use these every single day for bath mats. So we have them in every bathroom in our house, and then I have them at the kitchen sink, and I have them in our trailer because we have a travel trailer. So I have them on the floor of the trailer because it's just lino in there, and they're quite lovely. They wash up super good. Throw them in the wash, gentle cycle, lukewarm water, and then dry either till they're like 3/4 dry. You don't want them hot, or you can lay them flat to dry, whichever you prefer. Can you clean in the washing machine? Yes, we can. And I just answered that. Isn't that funny? You just brought that up. Yes, you can wash in the washing machine. Oh gosh, what's happened now? It feels like my needle is hitting the plate. All right, time for a little repair. Got my handy dandy screwdriver. I am the quickest person you will ever see do this. I don't know that for a fact. I mean, if there was a contest, maybe I'd be, in the running. But we're going to just see what's going on with the plate here because we don't want this hitting. Okay, not hitting there. Something's gone wrong here. Put the plate back in. See if my needle got bent. The possibilities are endless here at the sewing machine repair factory. One of my very first jobs when I was a kid, because I was 16 when this happened, my mother was a placement agent for like a temporary job company. And anytime somebody didn't show up for work, do you have a video about the machine maintenance and repairs? You need that information. No, you know what? I don't, but I will make one for you. How about that? Because it's important, right? You need to know how to do this. But yeah, I'll make you a video for it. It's really not that hard. My first tip would be to turn off the power, which I didn't do. But yeah, I can make a quick video for you and walk you through it. No problem. Something's gone on here. Why is my screw won't even go back in? Let's see what happens. I think I need to change the needle because something is getting hit here. Oh, goodness sakes. It's always something, folks. Always something. And it will be when you're doing a live video. And trust me, if it can go wrong, it will only go wrong if you're doing a live video. Machine maintenance. Okay, so we got a new needle. Which, to be fair, I probably could have used right now anyway. Let's see if it goes through. Yep, I had bent my needle. Crazy. And you'll know because your machine will not go. And so you just have a boo and see where it's effing up. Basically, you just have to look all the way back through where it's thread through the straw, through the thread eyeball thing here. Just work your way back to the problem and stay calm because I guarantee you this will drive you mad if you freak out. So just calmly do it. Like I'm doing it right now and I'm on a live video. Do I want to be doing this on a live video? No, I want to be sewing on a live video. But you know what? Poop happens. And this is what happens. So we've got to just deal with it. I still didn't get my other screw in here, and I think that's important. So I'm going to try to do that one again. Is it going to go? Got it now. Okay, bye, Shirley. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for being here today. And I don't know what that other guy is saying. And I'm guessing because he wants me to join someplace else, it's kind of like probably not something I'm going to be doing. So we're here sewing a rug. I'm not going to go join another person's channel about his brother. So maybe we could cut that. Stop that. Stop that right now. But you know what? When you do a live stream, your video is going to pop up to all kinds of different people and places and things. And that appears to be what is happening right there. Okay. Did we get it fixed? We'll keep the little screwdriver close by. That thing is handy dandy. And rip off anything that looks like it could cause a problem and start again. Cut all the little threads as we go. So if you're new here, we're sewing a fabric rug with 2.5-inch strips. The strips are 100% cotton, and we're sewing them with Pellon batting. And the batting I'm using is also 2.5 inches, and it's with scrim. Yeah, you just ignore it. That's basically what you have to do, right? I'm like, can you guys see the other comments too on here? Or is it just me that sees these comments? I often think, what are people going to think when I'm done this video? She was talking to herself for 2 hours. But Margie Swanson is here, and she's got stuff to say. So go, Margie. She's been very helpful and also wants to learn some more stuff. So we'll make another video here about some sewing machine maintenance here for this machine. You can see the comments. Yeah, so you can see what that person was saying, right? And unless I, like stop the video and go figure out who it is and like try to block them, I don't think that's going to work. So we just have to put up with it. Kind of poopy, but it is what it is. All right. And we're sewing, and we're sewing, and we're sewing. So is anybody actually in their sewing room tonight sewing stuff? Or are y'all just hanging out with me? I'm curious. Got to get a little drink here. Try not to do that too much. Otherwise, I'm going to need to use the bathroom while we're still on this thing. And no, you're not coming with me. Freaky people of the world. Okay. Oh, speaking of freaky people of the world, this is a funny story as well. But I knew I was going to make it. So I put these videos up on my YouTube channel here for quite a while. And every once in a while you get weird comments. And I had somebody come onto my channel and say, Margie's just sick and resting. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Margie. What are you sick with? And Gloria do you make your bath mats the same size or smaller? I do make them smaller. I typically make them 30 strips. And if I've got a little bathroom down here in my basement that has a much smaller sink, and I actually have 2 rugs in there. One I did at 20 strips because it's just the small vanity. It's probably 20 inches wide, that vanity. And I did a round rug for in front of the shower there. That's 25 strips. So there's 2 rugs in there. It worked out perfectly. But basically, yeah, they are smaller. Okay, so back to my story. The person came on my channel and said to me, would you mind videotaping your feet? I'm like, I'm not even going to answer that because I didn't answer them at all. But I thought, oh my God, what on earth? So my husband came home that night and I said, you know what? I'm going to be famous because the creeps and freaks have arrived. So you're going to be a big hit when. Like, just absolutely crazy. And do I want to be a big hit? Maybe not. But I do like to have fun. You're welcome, Gloria. I'm glad I could help with that. Who's new here? We've got 27 people currently watching. So if you're new here, say hello. Tell us where you're from. I'm Jolene. I'm from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And everything for my business is home Stitchery Decor. So the same as the YouTube channel. You can check out all the products on my website. And today we're just sewing a rug. A fabric strip rug. That is not fun, and I'm gonna pray for you and send you just warm, healing thoughts. That's awful. We've got Steph here from South Louisiana. We've got Audrey. Audrey's here for the first time from Scotland. Hi, from Scotland. Audrey. And Margie Swanson. I'm okay. Yeah, you are. Of course you are. Yeah. Okay, so you're new here, Margie. But last year, my husband had colon cancer. It was awful. He almost died multiple times because of surgeries. It was ridiculous. And we had a really, really, really tough year. And then you'll see in some of my other videos, I actually had an eye patch because I had a detached retina. And I started my business because I had this massive tumor in my stomach. So, Margie, you know what? You can always take a minute, and sometimes it's okay to just enjoy the sounds of a sewing machine and have somebody to visit with, because dang, that's a lot to handle. I hope you come back and stay here. How do you make the half moon size for the kitchen? You know what? I have never done that, so I don't know. I know that there's, like, Roma Lamson has all kinds of patterns and tutorials for the rugs. And she, I believe, has a half moon size one there too. I'm just going to pull this out because I missed the edge on here a little bit. But she does have a whole bunch of video tutorials for that. So you can go, does she have video tutorials or you buy them? I think you have to buy them. But there would, oh geez, my machine is just not happy. She has like the cutout instructions and all that kind of stuff for it. And she centers all of her tutorials around jelly rolls. And these are not jelly rolls. These are fabric strips. That's what it says right on the package, because I'm sure, I think it's Moda has copyrighted the jelly roll name. Oh, Greenwood, Indiana. Is that Greenwood, Indiana, Judy? McClelland. I'm guessing that's Irish. Or Scottish. Did you say you were Scottish? And Margie, where did you say you were from? Can't remember. Did you tell us where you were from earlier? And multiple sclerosis and breast cancer is nothing to be taken lightly. So I hope you... oh, you're from Texas. Did you tell us that before? I think you might have. But Texas. Yay, Texas. I've been to Texas. I've been to Dallas. And I've been to Fort Worth. That was many years ago. But I had a great time. I had a friend that was doing some contract work as I want to say software development. And he had a condo here in Calgary. And so he had actually just bought this condo. And bear in mind, I was quite young, so my living situation was flexible. Anyway, he was a friend of mine. He was an older guy that was a really close friend of mine, actually, for years. I'm still friends with him. But he had bought this condo and he needed somebody to like live in the condo and deal with all the tradespeople because he was offered this contract position in Dallas, Texas. Oh, you're out in the country. That's fun. Hola from Portugal. Hola. Anyway, so his name is John, and he said, hey, you know, I really need a favor. Can you come and live at my condo and deal with all the tradespeople because I have to take this contract job. It was like with an oil and gas company, which if you know anything about Texas, there's all kinds of oil and gas companies down there. And it was, you know, a very last minute thing, but he had, like I said, just bought this condo. So all the things needed to be done to get it like ready for him to live in. So I moved into the condo for him. And, you know, it was back in the day where like, he just wrote blank checks and left them there for me to pay tradespeople to get everything done. And we talked on the phone about stuff that we needed to get done because there was no such thing as FaceTime or, you know, texting at that point either. Hi, Elise. Anyway, so we got it all done. And then as a thank you gift, he said to me, do you want to come spend a week with me in Texas and I'll pay for it, right? So I'll pay for the flight for you and, you know, put you up for a week and drive you around town and stuff. And we were very much into dancing, like country western dancing at the time. Oh, she's from Australia. Hello from Australia. We're in Australia. That's a big country. So yeah, it was super fun. I went all over Dallas and Fort Worth and, you know, did all the big things that people do down there. Went to Billy Bob's, went to the JFK Museum, went shopping, went downtown for lunches, and there was a street festival one night. And I actually loved every minute of it. Yeah, it was a great project. It was super fun. And like I say, John and I are still friends. Like I still talk to him, even though I'm married and stuff, and been friends with him for 30 years. Just some guy I met at a bar. So anyway, when his condo was finished, I actually ended up living with him for 2 years as his roommate. He built a big, beautiful condo, and we were hanging out all the time anyway. So I went and lived there for 2 entire years, and we had a great time. And then he met somebody that he wanted to be with on a more permanent basis. So off he went, and no hard feelings. And that's just the way it was. At some point here, my husband may come home with food for me. But I'm just going to tell him, hey, you guys, I'm on a live and I will get to you when I get to you. Because he goes out every Friday night for beers with his work crew. And I bet you he's done it for 25 years. Every Friday night, a bunch of them go and have whatever's on sale at the pub. It's like sliders or chicken wings or something. And they solve all the world's problems over a beer. And then a few hours later, he comes home, and I'm probably in his good books today because I mowed the lawn, so he'll probably bring me some supper. G. Croker said hello. Hello. Hi, you guys. On our live this morning, because I did a live this morning with this, when I checked the statistics later, I had 96 thumbs up. So if you are watching this video, can you please give it a thumbs up and let's beat this morning's record. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe and hit the bell button, and then you will get notified when I put out new videos. And I have all kinds of tutorials about what I do on my channel here. So super duper fun. I would say we are 2/3 through sewing the batting strips, which you cannot do this fast unless you have that clover tube maker. It is a game changer, which is funny because I had staff last year that I hired that are now not working for me. because I fired them. That it was just like everything is a problem kind of situation. Like, you ever meet one of those girls that's their own worst enemy? Yeah, I had a couple of them working for me. So just fundamentally could not get it together. And I gave them, bought them clover tube makers to help make the project easier. And they insisted that it only made it worse. And I'm like, okay, there was just one thing after another. There was like 50 things that went on. I finally got to the point that I'm like, I don't even need this kind of help. So basically, this clover tube maker that cost me, I think it was like $16.95, has replaced a staff member, if you can believe that. And I'm all about, contributing to the economy and having staff work for you and making good choices as far as people. But I didn't make a good choice there, and it just didn't work out. So this year, I'm going it alone. And look, I missed this here too. Every once in a while, you will miss, and it will look like this. And you just need to fix it. It'll be glaringly obvious. You need to fix it before the next step. And it's because I am going so fast and talking on the computer talking on a video at the same time. So not a big deal. Just put a couple of stitches in it and then try to line up the top stitch so that you're not making a big ugly mess. And then stick it down and go back and forth a little bit to make sure that you've got a good solid base there, and off we go. I always like to clip the thread ends as I go because it's easier for the next step. And I'm thinking I might as well change my bobbin thread while I'm here. Nope, not quite ready. Of course, now I pulled it up. All right. Who's new here? We've got a whole bunch of new people. 33 people are currently watching. Hi guys, I'm Jolene. Let us know where you're from, what you're up to tonight. Hola, ¿cómo estás? What other languages do I, bienvenido. Hola, ¿cómo estás? What other languages? I only know a bit of Spanish and a bit of French. And English, of course. I'm going to try to work on that more. I did know more Spanish, but I think because we weren't traveling, I wasn't using it as much. And we weren't traveling because my husband had colon cancer. So it's pretty hard to travel when you have colon cancer. And I just kind of got out of the habit of doing my lessons. And if you're not using it like anything else, you lose it. And I'm hoping it'll come back with some practice here this winter, because I would like to go traveling again. So who's got questions, you guys? Some of you have been here for a while. Some of you are brand new here. We're making a fabric strip rug, otherwise known as a rag rug, a throw rug, or sometimes called a jelly roll rug. Although this is not a jelly roll rug because the fabric we are using is called fabric strips. It's not called a jelly roll. But I'm sure you've seen them. If you've done any amount of sewing, you've probably seen them all over the internet. They're very popular right now. I've made over 1,500 of them and I sell them. So if you're interested in that, you can go ahead and check them out on my website. I do have them very affordably priced, if I do say so myself. And they're fun to make. So I've decided this year is the year I'm going to really, really grow my YouTube channel. And it's going swimmingly well. I've got 6,200 subscribers. I'm getting paid, which is different. You know what's the difference between the fabric strips and the jelly roll? I'll show you. The fabric strips, it's literally just what somebody calls it, right? So the fabric strips generally come in a package like this, and the jelly rolls come in a roll like this. And I believe it's Moda that has copyrighted jelly roll. So it's just literally what they call it, and they don't want to, infringe on somebody's copyright. But it's 2.5-inch strips of fabric, and the bundles are sold with 40 strips of coordinated fabric. Like this is 40 strips of a Hawaiian based fabric, and they put them all together in these bundles, and you can make rugs, quilts, etc. with the 2.5-inch strips, and everything coordinates. So it's just like buying a pre-made kit. How do you prevent the rug from waving? Just made a jelly roll rug for my bathroom, and the waves in it are driving me nuts. Hi, Jennifer. Where are you from, Jennifer? Jennifer, you need my video called The Ultimate Jelly Roll or Fabric Rug Tutorial. It's on my channel. It has 42,000 views on it. You'll know you're on the right video because the thumbnail for it, which is this size, it has 4 rugs and then my logo in the center of it. And I talk you through all of it from step by step, how to get that rug flat. So it's my step-by-step tutorial that breaks down each step and talks you around the corners and everything so you can get that rug flat. But my basic rule of thumb is if your rug isn't flat, you'll need to rip it out if you're new, because it's like driving a car. You can't go fast around the corners until you know what you're doing. And if it's not flat to begin with, it'll likely never be flat. I have a couple rugs that have a wave or two in them, and I'm able to iron those out. But I've also made 1,500 rugs. So I know, the difference between the feel of the fabric and what can I, adjust a little bit with my sewing or what I need to rip out. So definitely go and watch that video. It's super helpful. And then I also have another video that is called my 6 best tips, which is a super good video as well, where I give you my 6 best tips for sewing the rugs. So watch the tutorial, then watch the tips video. It'll take you 45 minutes or something to watch those 2 videos. But then when you go to sew your rug, just pull up that video and do each step until you can hit rewind and everything and pause it, and then just hit play when you get to the next step. So that would be my best advice for you. It's really super frustrating, and I'm not going to lie. When I started this, I started with tears and actual curse words. I used to swear and cry all the time at this project. It would take me 4 days to make a rug, and now I'm doing one here in a couple of hours, which is crazy, and doing a video at the same time. So it can be done. I promise you, you can get that flat. You can. Any other questions here, you guys? Don't be shy. I can't make these rugs for everybody, so you might as well learn how to do it and have some fun. And you could even sell these and make some money if you had the desire to do that. Awesome. I'll check it out. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. No trouble at all. All of the supplies, if you are new here to the live, if you check the video description, there's an Amazon link, and everything I use as much as possible is in that. So from the sewing machine to the snips, what kind of thread I use, the tube maker, the kind of needles I use. everything is in there if you guys are looking for the products. If you just want to snoop to see what you need to buy, or you want to buy it yourself, if you do buy something from an Amazon link on the same day you clicked on my link, then I will earn a small commission. And like I said earlier, my commissions last month were like $17 off of Amazon, so I'm not making bank on it. So every little bit helps. And you don't have to just purchase this stuff. You can purchase anything on Amazon on the day that you click my link, and whatever you purchase, I will earn a small commission. So that's great. And then at the end of the video, I will let YouTube process the video, all that kind of fun stuff. And then I'll write a video description up for it, and I'll have some more links for you guys, like to Connecting Threads, which is a fabric store online. They have a lot of this fabric at really good prices, and they ship really inexpensively. I think it's like $75 in the United States, and you get free shipping. And if you're from Canada, it's $100, and they give you free shipping. And they quite often have sales on their fabric. So that's a super affordable way to get some fabric. And if you're looking for fabric today too, Missouri Star has jelly rolls on sale today. So 2.5-inch strips. They sent an email this morning, and I looked at it and went, okay, I think I got enough for now. And yeah, so they've got fabric on sale right now. If you guys are interested in buying yourself some fabric, go check out Missouri Star and see if you can get some shipped to your house. I do all of it, Margie, every single thing. I am the house cleaner, the marketer, the organizer, the designer, the filmer, the editor, all of my videos, every single thing I do 100% myself right now. I have no staff. I have no help sewing right now. I do pay for things like when I'm designing my own cards, I have somebody that helps me with that. So like a graphic designer, and that's just pay per piece. And I do have a bookkeeper. Her name is Melissa. She is fantastic. I have an accountant, although I'm looking for a new accountant because my current accountant is kind of annoying me. So if you live in the Calgary area and you know a good small business accountant, hook me up. Okay, Margie, if you're fascinated with that process, I have a ton of videos just here on the channel. And in 3 weeks from now, I'm going to have a huge announcement for something that's coming out that I think you might find helpful. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel because it is a resource that is going to really help out a whole bunch of people. I don't want to tell anybody what it is yet because I don't have the final stamp on it yet. But in 3 weeks from now, I'm going to have something that comes out that's going to be super duper helpful for a whole bunch of people. And I hope you enjoy it. So stay tuned for that. But I have tons and tons and tons of videos on this channel that are not the sewing related. They're business related. So like how to set up a Shopify store, how to market your products on Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook with a scheduling app called Tailwind. I have videos where I just tell you like how to set up a market stand, how to, make mix and match products, how to overcome your fear of getting started. Just piles. I've been on here since 2020, I think. Yeah, there's all kinds of videos, Margie, on here. Like you could binge watch that kind of stuff for a week and just write down the steps. And then, like I say, in 3 weeks from now, you're going to want to be tuned into the channel because I've got a huge announcement for another thing that I have been working on that I've kept completely secret. And it's going to be a game changer for a bunch of people. And I hope you like it. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait for it to come out. And essentially, I just started. That's how I got going too, right? Like I just absolutely just started. I sewed a rug and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, and I listened to a bunch of podcasts, and then I went to the next step. And now I kind of feel like I'm playing a video game where I just keep opening up new levels, which is super exciting. Like I get a new, I got approved to have my catalog on Pinterest. I got approved for wholesale accounts. I got approved to be in these big markets. I got approved to work with Tailwind. I worked with Tailwind like super closely. Like I was, Tailwind is a Pinterest scheduling app that works. Basically, you can schedule your content to Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook in a matter of clicks. And I actually was their test company for some new AI technology a couple of years ago. They were testing out some new technology, and they needed companies like mine to help them out with that. And so what they did was first they asked me to take a paid call where they gave me like a month of their software. And I took this paid call, and then they invited me to apply to be a company that they could work with behind the scenes with their technology. And they ended up getting 3 companies in the world. And I was the only one of those 3 companies that stuck with it. And I worked with their team of developers very closely. So a lot of the changes that you see on their app were actually my suggestions. And it was super cool. And I can still call them up today and get some help with a project, or if something's not working on Pinterest, I will take a video for them and give it to their software team or their developer team or their advertising team, whichever team needs to see it. And basically I was able to like affect change for a whole bunch of small businesses by working with them, which is super cool. And in the meantime, I learned a whole bunch, and I got a whole bunch of promotion from them because they paid for some ads on my content as a thank you, which was very, very, very cool. So super nerdy for somebody that sews jelly roll rugs, but their team is like ex-Google employees, ex-Microsoft employees, and they're genuinely just like the nicest people on the planet. Super cool people. So you'll see some videos on my channel about that. And yeah, I did that. I worked I worked with an app and affected a whole bunch of change for a small business. It was fun. Okay, so if you guys are new here, I know there's 33 of you guys here right now. We're almost done sewing this tube, which has seemed to take forever, but we're almost done with it. And then we're going to sew the rug round and round and round. And when I say we're almost done with it, this is how much we've got left. We are almost done with this. So stick with it. The fun part is coming up right away. And that part is actually much quicker than this part. We've just got to get it going. So when I'm telling you that I am a nerd that has a sewing business, I am not lying. I totally, completely wig out on all of the techie things in the background and all of the apps and the AI technology and the how does this widget work, and link this up to Google Analytics so you can make money. And it's like my favorite thing to do. I would actually sometimes prefer to not sew anything at all and to just do the computery things. But I fired all my staff, so somebody's got to sew this stuff for my Christmas markets because that's what pays me the money. When I go to the Christmas markets, I will have probably, how many do I have right now? 150 is what I have right now. I'm probably going to try to aim for 250 to 300 rugs this year. I want to increase my sales at my Christmas market, so I increased my booth size at one of mine. When you have a bigger booth, you typically sell more. And when you have a bigger booth, you're typically not stuck in a corner. At the Christmas market, they put you in the mid aisle or on a corner, or what they call an end cap of an aisle. And then that way you get more foot traffic. So I'm hoping that, I'm not even hoping, I'm planning to sell more. So Audrey, what are you using for batting with your fabric? Okay, so the batting is Pellon batting. It's cotton batting with scrim. And I cut my own batting because I was able to buy some bolts of it, and it was going to be less expensive than buying the rolls at the time. But now that I have wholesale accounts, it's cheaper the other way, as I found out with one of my wholesale accounts just recently. Actually, I went and looked. It's going to be cheaper for me to buy them. But you can buy the pre-cut ones on Amazon. And I have the link in the video description to my Amazon list. And that is one of the things that is on the list. So you can go ahead and get it shipped right to your house. Or you can buy your own batting. I use Pellon, and it's 100% cotton with scrim. So it's a nice thick batting, and it has lots of loft to it. So the rugs stay thicker, they wash nicer. They're just not as flimsy. And I find whenever you're sewing a project like this, just spend $5 on the better material. You will thank me profusely later. Yeah. Okay. What are we using for our batting? Yeah, I answered that question. Okay, so we're right at the end here. I do a taper. I don't like a blunt end. And I also show you how to do that in that long form tutorial. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly come through here and just check to see that I've got, I want as many of, I don't want any thread here if I can avoid it for the next step. So if I see any loose end thread here, I'm just going to give it a little snip, and then we'll get started on doing the round and round portion here, which is the fun stuff. And it's fun to see how the fabric goes together, which is my favorite freaking part of all time. Because you just don't know, right? Like you buy the fabric and you don't know how it's going to like look until you do the round and round thing. Okay. I've got a little piece of thread here. Hopefully we've got most of them. So the next part will be nice and smooth. I always just throw this in a laundry basket, which is on the floor next to me. I don't want this stuff particularly sitting just on my floor, although I do clean my office studio like every time before I sew these rugs, because you know, guaranteed something's going to land on the floor, and I don't want to be picking up any fluff or hair or anything like that. I just want it to be nice and clean. Okay, so how are we going to sew this fabric rug? Now, who all's here? Hi from Australia. Good evening from Texas. Hello, Jan Peterson from Texas, or Patterson, sorry. I can't see my phone, it's a long ways away. And Shirley Hobson, hello from Australia. Hello, hello. Okay, so now we're going to sew the rug, the round and round portion of the rug. This is the funnest part ever. What you need to do is, I just started like where I sew it in a third up until the end of the first strip. So find where your first strip ends and then fold this back and forth a couple of times until you get the length. So when the first center piece ends, it's at where the fold is. So practice makes perfect with this. Do it a couple of times back and forth. I should probably have like a measuring tape, but I never thought of that until just now, because it maybe would be easier if I measured. But Let's just wing it. See how it goes. All right. Just a tiny little bit. Okay, how we sew this now is the where we've sewn the fabric together is always going to be to the left. How I do it anyway. And then the next piece that you're going to sew to this one, the folded piece is to the left. That way, this piece that we're feeding in has this nice soft side, and that's going to be the outside of the rug all the time. So I've got my thirds. I start from 1.5 inches down. I'm going to zigzag back and then come forward. So I don't have a big bulk. So I'm going to change my machine to the zigzag. Hi, I'm Josie watching from South Korea. That's crazy. South Korea. We didn't even think you had TV in South Korea. Or is that North Korea where it's North Korea, isn't it? Where everything's communist and you don't have access to anything. And Anne is here from the UK. Julie is here from Nebraska. Hello. Hello, everyone. Okay, so Jose Kim is here from South Korea, and that is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Who'd have thought you could reach people in South Korea making a rug? That's crazy. Why is this doing this? I want to be... Okay, so we zigzag, we go back about 1.5 inches. And now the trick is, you guys, you just need to not push or pull the fabric on the straightaway. When you get to the corner, the very first corners are really tight. Push on the inside of the fabric until it makes a little pucker. And basically, you're making little gathers as you go around. And for a close-up view of how I do this, please watch that full-length tutorial, which will be linked at the end of this video, but it's called the Ultimate Rug Tutorial. It's on my channel. It has 42,000 views, and I have a close-up of it. I'm new to sewing and have a Singer heavy duty too. Question, why does my thread keep breaking from my needle? I've changed my needle 3 times and every time it breaks. Take your machine apart. So take the switchblade cover off, stitch cover plate here off. There's 2 little screws, and get in there and clean it. I just had another girl, it was Maria, asking me to do clean the sewing machine tutorial. So I will get that done in the next couple of weeks. There's probably one on YouTube already, but get in there and clean all the lint out and oil the machine and change your needle, and you will probably find that that stops happening. And if, like I said, you guys, if you want to see a very, very close up of how I start this rug at the center, watch the tutorial. But basically, you're feeding everything in evenly on the straightaway. You can see mine just buggered up here too. No machine is perfect. And then when you're going around the corner, you need to squish the fabric to gather it on the inside. And as you make those little puckers, the outside will lay flat. And I know that sounds super duper confusing because I'm going to tell you 50 times not to push or pull fabric unless you're on these first couple of corners, and you need to kind of squishy things around that first couple of corners. That's the best way I can explain it without doing the close-up. And that close-up is in the full-length tutorial. So that's why I keep referencing it. It's got 42,000 views on it, so it can't be wrong. I've made over 1,500 rugs. I sell them. You're welcome, Jason. I see you on my television up here. I'm reading my comments up here. So if you guys are wondering, why is she looking up there all the time? Because it's hard to see the comments on my phone where I'm recording it. So I'm playing my channel live up here, and the comments pop up bigger up there. Okay, so now when I start the new thread, I put my width down to 0. I'm still on my zigzag stitch, but I put my width down to 0. So I'm basically sewing a straight line. I do some back and forth, and then I start sewing the zigzag again. And the reason I do that is I don't want a whole bunch of clumpy zigzag start and stops. That's why I do it. And my machine is going to bugger up here. Jason, I might need to go in and clean out my machine. It's going to be a problem. Okay, let's start with another bobbin. See if we can get this going better. Maybe I didn't thread that bobbin properly. It's kind of getting halfway to the end of it. And if you don't have your bobbin threaded properly, you will also have problems sewing. So make sure that your bobbin is super tight. That's a good tip for you too, Jason. If you push on your thread in your bobbin and it's squishy, you probably have your bobbin threaded wrong, and that could cause that problem as well. Has anyone replaced a batting with upcycled fleece blanket? I'm interested in making one secondhand thrifted materials. You know, Sarah, I've heard that done, and with good results. I haven't personally done it. Anybody in the comments got anything to say to Sarah about that? Perhaps we can help her out. But I don't see why not. It would be polyester, I'm assuming, right? Fleece, right? Fleece is polyester. So you probably get some good loft out of that. Might be nice and thick. It's probably going to weigh a lot more than the cotton rug. But yeah, I don't see why you couldn't do that. So the trick now, you guys, is on these first few corners, everything needs to lay flat. If it's not laying flat at the start, it will never lay flat. So don't struggle with it. Don't get an iron out and try to fix it. You're never going to fix it. Just pull it out and start over. I kind of feel like my thread is buggering up. Nope, it's not. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, I hope this isn't going to be like sticky. Has anybody ever done these rugs where you get like the stickiest fabric possible, and then every time you try to sew the zigzag, it just sticks and pulls thread like it shouldn't be pulling, kind of like this is doing right now, although I didn't think this fabric was that sticky. But it is just really freaking annoying me right now. And when these go well, this should probably take like a half an hour to do the zigzag for a 40 strip rug. It shouldn't be that hard. So take back anything that you think is not looking pretty when your thread messes up, and put your width back to 0, start it again. Make sure it's tacked down there really good. And go slow. That's my best tip. This is a Singer heavy duty, Julia. Yes, it is. It's a 4452. I bought it off Amazon. The link is in the video description for all the supplies that I have here. And does yours always give you issues? Mine hardly ever gives me issues. I'll be honest. This machine is a workhorse. So that's the third time. And I kind of have this third time rule of like, if my machine buggers up on a needle 3 times in a row, I just get a new needle, regardless of the fact that I just put it in. I will save this needle for sewing some straight stuff afterwards, but for right now, and also because I'm doing a tutorial live, of course, if anything's going to go wrong, it'll go wrong on a live. I'm just going to change the needle because I did bend one earlier and I just don't want to mess with it. So put a new needle in. You can use the Janome purple tip needle for this, or you can use a jeans needle, which is 116, which is what I'm using right now. This material is super thick when you've got all this batting in, and I can save the needles you know, it was sewing fine when we were doing the straight stitch. And I don't mind saving a needle for something and putting a new one in and then using, you know, a brand new needle on the zigzag, because you don't want it to be like missing stitches or anything. You just want it to go smoothly. Okay, start again. There's table options on that Amazon link too that aren't as expensive as some of those cabinet options are. But you can also do this where, like if you don't have a sunken table like I do, you can line it up and have it with some cereal boxes. What is going on here? Or you can have like boxes from Uline. If this keeps messing up, the video will be over because I can't do that. What is going on? Everything's moving. Get a tiny bit of oil. Jason, if you're still here, you're going to see me clean out my machine here a little bit. I have this tiny little screwdriver. It's super handy. Like I said earlier, if something's going to go wrong, guys, it will go wrong on a live video. For sure, for sure. Is the bobbin in backwards? No, there's no chance my bobbin's in backwards. I've threaded this machine 1,000 times. It's probably got some lint in it from sewing. Frankly, that's how it gets lint in it. So I like to use pipe cleaner. And I do have quite a bit of goobers in there. So that's probably what's causing it. We'll find out. But that's probably what's doing it. 6:30. I'm guessing my husband just walked in the door because my dog's up. Her name's Cinnamon. And now she's standing at the door going, "What up, Mom?" Put a little bit of oil in there. Put my bobbin back in. Or my bobbin case, sorry, back in. Okay. Let's see. Goobers. Yeah, Jan, that's exactly it, right? Goobers. We have goobers. We have goobered up our machine. There's no way to avoid it when you're sewing that much batting, unfortunately. That's just get in there, give it a quick clean, make sure everything's running smoothly. I'm pretty quick at it, if I must say so myself. True story about this machine too. I do use a metal bobbin in it. It will not sew with a plastic bobbin. I didn't know you were supposed to use plastic bobbins until one of my viewers told me this like a couple months ago. And then lo and behold, I went and Googled it for every single machine I own. And sure enough, it's like, no, you're not supposed to use metal bobbins. But now this machine will not sew with a plastic one. So it's kind of a catch-22. How do you fix that? All right. Is everything lined up? Let's see. What do you guys think? Is it going to sew? No. It's not sewing. Oh, goodness sakes. It is not sewing. Something is not going right. And I am 1,000% it will be something, a user error. And truth be told, if this doesn't work, I do have another machine exactly like this in the packaging in a storage room because they were on sale and I did have staff. So I bought extra and gave it to my staff. Margie, that's pretty funny. Because we have a presser foot, my friend calls the lint stuff toe jam. That's hilarious. That's freaking funny. Okay, and now forevermore, we'll be calling it toe jam. Thank you for sharing that. Too funny. Okay. Everything threaded properly. 3rd time's a charm. 5th time's a charm. Let's go with 5th time as a charm. Everybody wish me luck. Slow and steady wins the race. Except for I don't want to go too slow, because you'll all get bored and leave us. Okay. Oh my goodness. Amelia, hello. How are you? Amelia Carvalho. I feel like I should be saying hola. ¿Cómo estás? Is that correct? And we're sewing and everything is looking okay. So fingers crossed we can keep it like that. We've only got 40 strips here to sew. And we will be able to see how this fabric looks pretty quickly here. And I totally jinxed myself. It just messed up again. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to let my dog out of the room because she's throwing a fit. 1 second, guys. Rob, I'm working. Can you feed her? So now I've bumped my camera. I've told my husband I am working. He'll just have to wait because I cannot come out right now. And I am going to get a brand new bobbin. And if this doesn't work, we might pitch this machine into file 13 because there's no way that this should be doing this. But that's probably not what I'm going to do. What I would actually do is tear apart the whole entire machine and clean it, get it oiled up again, and then give it another try. But it could be as simple as the bobbin is not wound properly, so we're going to try that first. And while I'm doing that, I need to pick out a few stitches here where this didn't go correctly. Frustration. Hi from Indonesia. Hello. And I've got Lourdes Fluenza here as well. This is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Now I've lost the plate. No, I didn't. There it is. Okay, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. See if it works. So what we're sewing here, you guys, is a fabric jelly roll, fabric strip rug. Technically, this is a fabric strip rug because the fabric is called fabric strips right on the package. And so far, we've joined the 40 strips together by mitering them end to end. and then we sewed them around some batting. So we made a tube. And now that the tube is made, we're trying to zigzag this rug together, and my machine is not cooperating. Okay, I don't know that language. Buena noite, Guar. I have no idea. Helen Santos. I'm guessing that's Spanish. And I know hola, ¿cómo estás? And buenas noches, and dos cervezas, and a whole bunch of other things like my husband spent all our money on a donkey, which is what I tell every timeshare person. Hi, Anna. She's Portuguese. Hi, Anna. How are you? Okay, so we've got a new bobbin here. We've got thread going here. Let's see. We've oiled the machine. We've changed the needle. We're doing all the things that we should be doing. And actually, you know what? This is good just to see, like, I've sewn 1,500 rugs, and my machine here is now not cooperating. And I'm not even stressed about it. So when you first start this project and everything is going wrong, please revert back to this video. And you will see that not everything goes perfectly. And even us professionals have the same kind of issues, and we just need to slow down and figure out what the problem is. Hi from Miami. Hello. Welcome from Miami. What's up in Miami on a Friday night? So what we want to do now that we've gone around the very first few corners is we just want to give it the very slightest amount of give on the inside of the fabric as we go around the corner, and that will help the fabric lay down flat. And as long as our fabric is laying down flat, the rug will be flat. And this thing is just chewing up thread. Okay, we fixed it again. The thread that I'm using is a 40 weight polyester embroidery thread, which has a very high break point. Yes, I do have to methodically go through my checklist, don't I? Hello from Tallahassee. But I think that's a good lesson, right? Like, you just, okay, what's the problem? Work our way back to, like, it's a simple machine. There's only so many things that can go wrong with it. Did you buy some cheap ass thread? Might be your problem. Did you not clean out your bobbin casing? Might be your problem. Did you wind your bobbin incorrectly? Also a problem. Okay, so the only thing I haven't changed now is this thread, which I changed once earlier, so you would think that that would not be the problem. But I do have this lovely white thread that is brand new. So let's try this one. Maybe the machine is in perimenopause, and then the symptoms are irrational and unexplainable and unpreventable and unpredictable. Does that about cover it? It's unbelievably humid in Miami, folks. Well, that's fun if you've got curly hair like mine, hey? Can't wait to retire and get out of Florida. When you retire, where would you go? Because almost everybody I know would like to retire in Florida. That would be a dream for some of us. It's like the grass is always greener on the other side, right? I'm from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, if you didn't know that. My machine does not like 40 weight thread at all. Yeah, you know, it's funny because like when we were doing the straight stitch on here, the machine was sewing perfectly on the straight stitch. And now suddenly I've gone to a zigzag stitch, which I do all the time. But I have had experience in the past with this 40 weight thread and a zigzag, in particular with a cream colored thread. And no matter what I did with that cream colored thread, it would not zigzag. It just wouldn't. And so I actually have like wrote on it, do not zigzag with this spool of thread. And it just sits in my drawer waiting to not be zigzagged because it just absolutely would not work. So I had forgot about that actually. So thanks for reminding me. And it just that particular color, like I have, I don't know, 15 different colors of that exact same thread, and it all worked. And exactly, that's why I'm moving to Nashville. Humidity and menopause, problem figured out. Yeah, exactly, right? We've got menopause and we have humidity. Okay, that actually does sound better. So maybe we are correct in that spool of thread doesn't like to be zigzagged. And if that's the case and this spool works, what I will do is I will mark the thread that this color, this particular one is good for zigzag and the other one is good for a straight stitch. And then I don't have to go through this whole fiasco again because it's kind of super frustrating. All right. Like I said, this is my favorite part, to see the colors come through. I'm in the mountains of North Carolina. Rebecca McDonald. Hello, Rebecca McDonald. McDonald was my maiden name. That is a true story. And then I got married, and I used the name of that husband, who is actually my ex-husband. And I have a new husband. But I didn't change my name. It's basically how that goes. So his name is super hard to spell, and my name right now, my last name is Airy, so that's not hard to spell. But I was born a McDonald. Hi, girls. Nice to meet you. Hello, everybody. So does everybody know what we're making here? Do we have any questions? Because this is going to be done before we know it. And we'll be off this chat and hopefully with some new friends. I did one of these this morning, if you didn't know that. I did one of these rugs here this morning, a red one. And we had such a good time on the chat. At the end of it, everybody was like, I'll see you later. Thanks for being here. Had fun, girls. It was so much fun. Okay, Margie, yes. Do you see? I've changed the thread now. I worked my way back to every single problem systematically. What is it? Is the bobbin stuck? Is the bobbin not wound right? Is the bobbin casing dirty? Is it the needle? And now we've worked our way back to, is it the actual thread that doesn't like to zigzag? And I'm going to go with, I might have solved the issue with getting a new spool of thread. Which, who'da thunk? But this is good practice for just, calmly sort the problem out. Oh, Anna, I have a Singer heavy duty. It stops working whenever I use it for a long stretch of time. It overheats. Well, that's possible too, right? I'm in Canada. It's probably like 18 degrees Celsius here today. So I don't know what that is. Maybe like, excuse me, high 70s. It's so flat without ironing at every turn. Mm-hmm. That's the ticket, Jen, is for the rug to be flat. So when you watch the full length tutorial and I show you, like, I have the camera like right down here, you'll see how I get around those first few corners so everything is flat. But if you do this right, you will get a flat rug every time. And the trick right now is, yes, I had to, give a little give on those first inside pieces of fabric as I went around those first few corners. But now I'm just essentially letting the machine feed the fabric through at its own pace, just slowly and methodically. And I'm not pushing or pulling on the fabric in either direction. So I'm not giving it any slack, and I'm not giving it any tension. And that's how you will get a flat rug. This is actually going to be really stinking pretty. I cannot wait until I get to the teals at the end. Teal is one of my favorites. Have you tried the thread brand Guild? Yes, actually, I was sewing my red rug this morning. If you haven't seen it yet, and I ran out of thread, so I have to go get some more. But this red rug that I was doing this morning is with glide thread, and it worked pretty good. I have like, I don't know, 10 different brands of thread in here. Just depends on the colors that are available and then where it's on sale. And of course, because I have commercial accounts, I have access to all kinds of different stuff. And I sew so much that I actually have to have so much. So I try to watch the sales. It's looking really pretty, isn't it? It really is, Margie. Yeah, it is looking so pretty. Somebody's going to love this. I think it's pretty. Like, I don't want to put it in my house, but I do think it's super duper pretty. My colors are in, like, upstairs I have blonde oak, and then I have cream doors and trim and baseboards. And then my walls are painted 3 different colors of blue. So a very light, like a pastel blue. And then I have like a very, very dark blue that almost looks black. And then I have one shade in between. So we have the 3 different shades of blue upstairs. And then I'm not sure if you can see it here, but my walls down here are like a gray blue. And so the whole house is kind of in those shades. It's very calming. And my sewing room here is obviously very, very full because I have a sewing business and that's what I do. But the rest of my house, I don't like a lot of clutter. And I think that's probably because, like, at Christmas time, you know, a week before I go to Christmas markets, I'm in this room and I basically have to like look down at what I'm doing because there's piles and piles and piles on top of piles of stuff. And I become physically overwhelmed with how much stuff is in my office. I feel like the walls are going to cave in on me. So the rest of the house is very clean all the time and no clutter anywhere. Not a lot of art on the walls. And then I keep my headspace for all the busy patterns and all the busy colors and all that kind of stuff here within my sewing room. Oh, and we're on low battery mode now, so we really need to move it with this video. So I hope my phone lasts. My bobbin is out. So we're going to go on this tutorial until the phone runs out of power, but it should go pretty quick because the thread is working now. So we did this whole tutorial on a full phone of power, and now it's coming to the end of the power on my phone. So that'll be a lesson for me in future videos. I must have my phone fully powered, which I did before this one, just so you guys know. And same with the mics, was fully powered up. So hopefully it doesn't die before we get to the end of this video. So we're going to go super fast here. All right. Get that zigzag going. Okay, does anybody have any questions for the video here? I just messed up and forgot to change to zigzag, but here we go. I'm going to try to speed it up here so we can get to the end before my phone dies. We've got a new bobbin in and things are sewing very nicely. Oh goodness, this fabric is so pretty. I'm actually thinking I should get some more. I'm only going to be able to make 6 rugs with this. Those jellyful rugs are beautiful. I sew them too. They look fairly simple. Yes, they are fairly simple. You just have to be patient and go slow on the curves. I'm trying to concentrate and make sure that I'm catching all of the folded edges underneath. So I want my zigzag to catch both of the folded edges on the rug. So I'm concentrating pretty heavily on where my needle is lined up here. And if for some reason it isn't caught, you can always flip the rug over and look to see if you've got any little mistakes in it, and just go back and sew it on a zigzag. How many bobbins per rug? It's usually 4. So 2 to sew the strips together and to sew the straight line of the tube, and then 2 to sew the rug into a zigzag. And that's for a 40 strip rug. So as you can see, when everything is working well and your thread is working well and your bobbin case is clean and you've got a new needle, everything should go well. Do you make sure to ease in the strip so the rugs lay flat? Yeah, so Mildred, hi Mildred. I have a video tutorial called the Ultimate Rug Tutorial, and I show you how to ease the fabric close up on that video tutorial. It's got 40,000 views on it. It's on my channel, so go and have a look. And basically, once you start the rug flat, as long as you're not pushing or pulling this other fabric, the rug should stay flat as you sew it around. You may have some trouble right at the end of the rug because of the weight, but in that full tutorial, I also show you how to get the rug flat at the very end by easing the fabric. Might have to lift it up with your hand a little bit or fold the rug over just to kind of release a little bit of weight and tension off of the fabric. And as long as the fabric is feeding through the machine at the same speed, it should lay flat. So now's the time, you guys, because my phone might die. And if it does, I'm sorry. But now's the time to ask me any questions that you have. So anything that you can think of, let's get them into the comment section here. We're going to be switching to the teals in this rug here pretty quickly. I would really like to get this rug done before my battery completely gives out on my phone. And unfortunately, I cannot charge my phone and film the video at the same time. So this rug here, Mildred, is taking us about 2.5 hours today. We had some problems with the thread. Yeah, we did. And just chatting, takes a little while. When I first started sewing these rugs, it would take me 4 days and I would swear and cry because it was super duper hard. But as I've gotten better at it, of course, you learn better tips and tricks. And I have all kinds of videos on my channel with all of my best tips and tricks to sew these rugs, to get them flat. And it's kind of fun. And now it's like, what's gone wrong now? What could possibly go wrong? I'm guessing the bobbin casing isn't moving. I don't know, how many times can you watch where somebody takes their machine apart? I swear to you, if I wasn't doing a live, this would not be happening. Because whenever you're doing something that you think is important on a live video, that's when it'll bugger up. I think my bobbin case is not moving. So that tells me the last time I put it in, I didn't get it lined up properly. which probably was half my problems there too. Okay, take it out, line it back up, put it back in. You know, it's a wonder I could sew 1,500 rugs as many times as I've taken this machine apart on this one stinking video. And I'm sure somebody would throw a fit if they saw me taking my machine apart with the power still on, but I've done it 1,050 times. No, this is a Singer heavy duty, and I think I screwed this machine up by sewing with metal bobbins in it, which one of my viewers on this channel told me I wasn't supposed to sew with metal bobbins, but you don't know that because they're for sale all over Amazon. And then they don't put a disclaimer on there that you're actually not supposed to use them. So how would you know? And then one of my viewers on here told me that. And I was like, what? That can't be true. And then turns out it was very, very true. And I went ahead and researched all of my machines. And no, you're not supposed to use a plastic bobbin on any of them, which was eye-opening to me because I'm like, why would they be selling them? And now that I have sewn with a plastic, a metal bobbin on this one, I cannot sew with a plastic bobbin. It won't work. It doesn't like it. Every time I put a plastic bobbin in this machine, it screws up. So I'm stuck sewing with the metal bobbin, and I've probably worn out the machine or screwed up a gear or something like that in here. And I'm going to sew on this machine until it actually dies because I do run a small business and things are expensive. Oh, you've taken yours apart. Yeah, Mildred. I mean, you just have to take it apart and go back and do it slowly. So, okay, let's try this again. One more time. I want to see the teal before my phone dies on you guys. It's low power mode. It's in the red. It's saying we've had enough of you. But we've made some friends here on the channel today. So thank you guys for being here. Make sure if you're not subscribed to the channel that you subscribe. That way you will get notified when I put out new videos. Hit the bell notification button. And go and check out some of my other tutorials. I basically teach everything I do right here on my channel. So you can have all of the information for free. And I'm excited to see how many thumbs up I get at the end of this video. When I did a live this morning, like I said earlier, I got like 96 thumbs up on it, which was fantastic. It's good to see some good engagement from people. Hi, Salma. Yusuf, how are you? You've caught us right at the end of making this jelly roll rug. Or fabric strip rug. Technically, this is a fabric strip rug because I'm using fabric strip. And off we go. So if the video does cut out, you guys, I will feel terrible. But we did have a good time here today. And we've probably got about 20 strips left to sew on this, which if everything goes well, should only take us a few minutes. You want to sew quick enough that, you know, you're getting your project done, but there's a risk with this project of sewing too quickly, and the zigzag through all of this thick fabric won't be happy. So just slow down a little bit and you'll be happier. Oh, that's funny. The OK Kitty Farm. She says she bought this machine for $10 at a resale shop. She took it home and it had never been used. You know, isn't that funny? Somebody probably bought it, thought they were going to do it. Maybe an older family member. And you wouldn't believe the stuff you can get. One day I got this faff machine. I don't know if you can see it. It's off in the corner here. But somebody was giving it away on a local sewing group. And she essentially just wanted to give it to somebody that was actually going to use it and love it. And I was just getting started. And I said to her, you know, I would really like that. And lo and behold, she gave it to me, and I was so grateful. So several times now when I've cleaned out my studio, you know, like when you start a business, you start and then some projects don't work out, or you don't want to do them, or they're too expensive to do, or whatever the case may be. And so I've cleaned out fabric from my studio on multiple occasions and given it away to schools, or gone back onto that same Facebook group and said, hey, you know, I've got this stuff. I'm either giving it away or I'm selling it like super duper cheap, like just enough money to get my next meter of fabric. Because when I started this, of course, all I could buy was a meter of fabric at a time. And I feel like it's important, right? Like to give back to the people that have been helping you out. So there was one lady this today on this local fabric, local sewing group on Facebook, actually, and she was saying, I want to start a business with this. Can anybody help me? And I said, you know what? Go and watch my YouTube channel. And I have online coaching that you can watch as well. And it's, you know, basically free, but I teach all kinds of the business stuff here as well on the channel, not just the sewing. So if that's what you're aspiring to do and be, please go ahead and follow the channel. And then in 3 weeks from now, I have an exciting project that I'm going to launch here on my channel. And it's going to help a bunch of people who want to start small businesses out. I hope that's the goal. All right. How many times can we rethread a machine? So that was actually a bobbin change. So that one's good to go now. And we're into the purples, and I really just want to get to the teals because I want you guys to be able to see the teals, hopefully before my phone dies. What do you guys think about this color palette? This is Botanical Radiance by Benetrix. So if you're looking to purchase this, the finished jelly roll will be on my, or the finished rug will be on my website here in a few days. And you can actually look up this jelly roll and find it at a local quilt shop if you want. I only bought 6 of these, so I'm not going to be selling the fabric. I'm going to be making the rugs with it, unless I have it like just directly at a Christmas market. I might do that. But ideally, I like to sew as much as possible and sell the finished products. This year, I'm going to have fabric at my booth, which is new and kind of crazy. Yeah, it does look like a flower, doesn't it? The OK Kitty Farm. Love it. Love the colors, Jen. Thank you. Beautiful from Donna. Thanks, Donna. It's 2 a.m. Tina, what are you doing? Weren't you here this morning? Welcome back. I love these fabrics too. And you know what? If you've just joined, Tina, my phone might die and we might have to end this video early too. I hope not, because we had to end this morning's video because I ran out of the color of thread, and now I need to order more Glide red thread, which was like the burgundy red thread. We were so close. We only had a few little strips left, but couldn't make it happen. It's 2 a.m. Where are you from again, Tina? I know you told us this morning, and you're back for a second round, which is fun. I'm telling you guys, we had so much fun this morning. It was a great group of girls and guys, actually. A few guys on there. Are there any guys on here right now? If so, say hello. Introduce yourselves. Oh yes, London, UK. I remember you. And Shirley was here from Sew. She was back on this evening. She's already left, but she was here for a while. So that was kind of fun. And we're out of bobbin thread again. Last time. That could have gone flying, but it didn't. So that's the universe saying we are going, oh, you know what? I'm going to pick this other one because it's got more on it. We are going to be able to finish this rug. That's what the universe is telling us. And like always, everything's buggering up here. Hello from Martinsburg, West Virginia. Hello, Shelly. How are you? Shelly, we are sewing a fabric rug. And we are almost at the end of it. It has been a long and arduous project with my machine not liking the thread. So everything was going really good until we did the zigzag, right, folks? How many rugs have you made today? Okay, Tina, this is what happened. I made the red rug this morning, and then I looked at the weather, and it said it was going to rain again. And so for about 2.5 hours, I went outside and I did all of our yard work. We had a major storm here last week, and my sewing room actually flooded, but don't worry, all my stuff's up off the floor. And then it rained pretty much every single day this week, which meant we couldn't mow the lawn. And so this afternoon we had a little bit of a break, and my husband was at work, and I'm like, well, you know what? Too bad. It's going to rain again. And so I just got my button gear and I went outside and I did all the weed whacking and trimmed the whole yard, and then I mowed the whole yard, and then I did all the, washing down of the surfaces from all the dirt and the dust. And I deadheaded all of my flowers outside. And then I came in and I did a bunch of computer stuff that I had to do. And I talked to a couple of girlfriends and I had some lunch. And then at, I think it was like about 4 o'clock, maybe 4:30, I started this rug. So that's what I did today. And I'm glad that I did because it's supposed to rain here most of the weekend, like 70% chance. And our grass was super long anyway. I just wanted to get it done. And because my husband was at work, he can't always do everything. Like, he works outside the house and I have a more flexible schedule. And I'm more than happy to sit here and sew and, watch Netflix until, 2 in the morning. Whereas he's got to get up and go to work. So that's not going to work out so well for us. So I got out, did all of that, and I feel pretty good about it. Okay, here is the final few rounds of the rug, and you'll see I've just taken some of the weight off by folding it in half, and I can pop my hand up underneath to just make sure everything is laying flat as we go around these corners. We're almost done this one, you guys. I swear, it's just a few more strips. So if you have any questions, please ask them. And like I said, hopefully my phone doesn't die before we're done, but we're almost there. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. That means the world to me. You can watch another video, leave a comment. All those things help us small businesses reach our goals. And I try to do a whole bunch of fun stuff and give back to the community. So, everything adds up. And I really, really, honestly, truly appreciate it. It's just wonderful. I'm so grateful to be able to work at home. It's life-changing. To have some flexibility to go mow the lawn, go to a doctor's appointment, go camping on a weekend, a few minutes early. It's a completely different life than I ever thought I was ever going to be able to have. And it's literally because of viewers on YouTube, which is mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. Okay, we have another bobbin done. And just eating up bobbins here. And getting thread wound in places it shouldn't be. Well, isn't that fun? Not really. The thing with this thread is it's strong. The problem with this thread is it's strong. It gets caught in places it shouldn't get caught, and then it doesn't want to, give you a little break. Looks very pretty. Yes, it does look very pretty. It is Island Botanicals by Benetrex. Okay, what's everybody going to do on a Friday night after this video? Any suggestions, comments? I know I am going to go sit on the couch and eat my supper that my husband bought me. That is cold, but that's okay. I can heat it up. And I'm probably going to crochet a dishcloth because that's my, what I do when I'm watching television. So what's everybody else going to do? 2:00 in the morning, Tina should be going to bed. This is a 40 weight polyester thread, Donna. It's, I think I got this one from Amazon. If it's from Amazon, it'll be in my Amazon shopping list, which is linked in the video descriptions. Yeah, Tina, you need to go to bed. You've been up all day, girl. Why are you up now? Are you bored and just hanging out with people on YouTube? What's the story here? Are you up making your cards? Too hot in Texas to do anything. I'm going to make a strip rug. Well, there you go. Hem 5 pairs of pants for your dad. Oh my goodness, that's nice of you. And that's a lot of pairs of pants. You know, that's something I don't do is much tailoring. I generally take my stuff to the seamstress lady at the dry cleaners because she's so good at it. I'm like, why would I bother? And so I just pay her, and she's, got all the tools and everything she needs to do it, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I can't be bothered learning how to do that on top of everything else I'm doing. So I go and pay the lady. No, you don't take cards anymore. You woke up for a bathroom break and now you're wide awake. And you want to do more sewing projects. Well, I'm glad when you wake up and are wide awake in the middle of the night, you decide to join the Home Stitchery Decor YouTube channel. That's nice. Going to do some sketches for new projects. What kind of projects? Okay, I am thrilled with this. I am loving this teal color. I don't know why. I always love a rug that has teal in it. I had teal and black ones, and they were some of my best sellers. And every time I put the teal in the rug, I think, oh, doesn't that look like the ocean? More of that, yes, please. Okay, it looks like we're going to make it to the end. I can still see a red line on my phone, but I probably got about 2 minutes here, and we're going to be done. So if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. If I miss a question, don't worry. If you've left them in the comments. Oh, look, we're out of bobbin thread again. We just keep switching. It's because I had a bunch of half-used bobbins over here. Leave comments in the comment section. Even after this video is live, we'll be able to go back and look at the comments. And please remember that I do have the long form video tutorial. I hate doing alterations. Everyone that knows I still always ask me to do some sort of alteration. And yeah, I get it. I have that same problem because I sew. Everybody's like, "Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me?" And I just say, "You know what? I don't even do that for my business. So unless it's for my business, I don't sew." Going to make fabric kits that rolls up for traveling. Oh, clever. And do some slow stitching. Oh, that's fun. Yep. And are all my bobbin threads the same color? I'm using white right now. I had these pre-wound, but I had a whole bunch of half wound bobbins because I do embroidery back here and behind me. And the embroidery project that I do has to have a full bobbin. It's my reindeer ornaments, basically. And so I always have these little bits on bobbins at the end of those. And then I use them up on my rugs. And the OK Kitty Farm. I've got teen girls bringing Goodwill finds for new creations. It's how to start sewing as a teenager. Oh, that's fun. Good for you. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. The phone is not dead yet, but it will be. I'm sure. We've got, 18 inches or something left to sew here. How about if we go nice and slow and we don't screw something up right at the end? But here it is. Here's the finished rug. I've got a tapered end, and I show you how to do that in the long form video. And if you don't have one of these things, get one. You'll need one for this little tapered end at the very end of the project. It fits underneath the plate really nicely and gives you a nice finished look. And you can stick it under there without sewing your fingers off. So there is the finished rug. I hope you guys enjoyed being here. I enjoyed doing this. And that's it for tonight. The rug is gorgeous. Hang in there, iPhone. We did it. It's gonna die. I swear to God, it's gonna die. So we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for being here, you guys. I truly appreciate it. I had a blast. I hope you did too. And have a great night. Happy sewing, and health and happiness to everybody. Bye. We're gonna shut off the phone now. Off we go over here. Stop.